Here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, the Chief Administrator, the Head of Government Communication, the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism is Honorable Jerolimic Matthew Pia. Minister Pia comes on the national podium, make his introductory comments, after which our guests will be introduced. I have the most single honor to invite the official spokesperson of the government, Honorable Jerolimic Matthew Pia. Mr. Pia.
Good afternoon to all of you members of the press. Welcome to our regular press briefing. Today is Tuesday. We have the Deputy Minister for Sports and the Quamie from the Ministry of Youth and Sports visiting. He will have something to say to you. We also have the Executive Director who is responsible for media affairs from the National Port Authority. And you have the rest of the officials from the Ministry of Information who are here. And we're going to make some comments, and then David Minister Sando will have something to say, and then we hear from Firstly, the government has taken note of concerns raised by the former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Honorable Joel Howard Taylor, who have made some claims about entitled benefits which he said are not being received. We first want to start with some background as to what we've been struggling with as a government, not just the current government, but even during the Saliva administration, on how to bring the whole question of how to care for our former official and how to transition into the 4 years of context. There were efforts made to pass a transition act. I guess a lot of people chose to play politics with that, and it didn't work because we wanted to have a standardized approach towards how to treat former official. President Walker himself is on record for having said many times that when he was former vice president, he was receiving as little as $800 monthly as his benefit as a former vice president. And again, it was blamed on the fact that we did not put our acts together as a country to handle the transitional act that was proposed before the departure of President Seven. So on December 27, 2016, the National Legislature managed to also pass a transformative act to repeal Degree number 14 of the People's Redemption Council, and they established a legal framework for the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. That act extended pension coverage to a broader range of government officials, including the President, the Vice President, members of the legislature, justices, and employees from various public sectors, ensuring comprehensive participation in a contributory pension scheme for all government officials or employees. The non-contributory retirement scheme was abolished as part of the 2017 pension reform. And so on February 13, 2017, all government employees were required to contribute to their pension to secure retirement benefits, significantly shifting pension responsibility to the individuals and ensuring fairness. The new Act outlined clear eligibility criteria for retirement pensions, stipulating that individuals must be 60 years or older, and they must have retired from employment and meet specific contribution requirements. This ensures a structured approach to securing retirement for all government employees. But that's not the official abolition of the non-contributory pension scheme under the new 2017 Act. The CSA set a significant precedent, which included former presidents, former vice presidents on a non-contributory pension payroll as of 2018. This decision was based on a long-standing practice and the recognition of special status of these high-ranking government officials. As a result of this decision, past presidents and vice presidents have continued to receive retirement pension benefits under the old non-contributory system. And so the former vice president receives a monthly retirement pension benefit from the National Social Security Corporation on one hand, and she also receives her retirement pension benefit from the non-contributory pension scheme managed by the CSA, as it is the case with all former presidents and vice presidents. Therefore, as a government, we are ready to look into any additional claim of benefit coming from the vice president so as to ensure that they are paid if that is true. The government is open to looking into her claims. If she makes an official claim to the government, then we can find an amicable solution to that. But as of now, we may not want to dispute a question of claims, but both from the Social Security front and from the non-contributory scheme, as far as our record shows, she's receiving from those both ends. But if there are specific claims of benefit that she's supposed to receive, that she is now receiving, as she claimed in her radio interview, we encourage her to make a formal claim, and the government is ready to look into that matter. Here I have a full listing of what individuals who are in this category, including from President Selly, President Leah, and Tila herself. So for the purpose of confidentiality, I'm not going to release them to you, I'm not going to read the figures, but it is just to show that from our records, the individuals in these categories are receiving what is supposed to be their benefits on a monthly basis. I know when we announced as a government in the past that we wanted to see a kind of revolution in how we manage our road infrastructure. We realized that most of the roads in the country are not paved, even though much progress is being made currently to ensure that we link our different capitals and have most of our roads paved. The fact remains that there are so many routes that are not paved. So in our thinking, and as it used to be in the past, where we have maintenance zones across the country, the government opted that it would provide yellow machines to reestablish those maintenance zones so that we can at all times keep our roads pliable, whether they are paved or they are dusty, or gravel as we call it. Of course, at the announcement of that initiative, there were enough laws. Many questions about how the process was followed, etc., etc. As a government that listens, we slowed down the intervention and then decided to work from within. As it has already been announced and is in the public, we chose to recommit that the yellow machines will be made available still after a committee that was constituted by the President and chaired by the Vice President has been looking into that. I have not been going into the details of cost, etc., because we want to be respectful to the Honorable Vice President who spearheads this initiative. But what we thought to say based on what they have done is to assure you and reassure you that the machines will be made available. In our mind, that's good news. And I know in the minds of many Liberians, it's good news. But like we always do, the Liberian way, much have not been done in terms of celebrating the fact that we have it. But people have raised different kinds of questions. And we've heard people talk about, all right, the machine's going to be 50 million. It's going to be 100 million. So if it will be a price lesser than that, then somebody must be punished for something. I give you a practical example. I want to face the Ministry of Information. And 10 business people come with proposals on what is required to face the ministry. One person said 300,000. Another person said 200,000. One said 75,000. Another said 50,000. In our wisdom, we choose the 50,000. And somebody is saying, that person who said fixing the building will cost 300,000 wanted to steal and therefore they must be punished. You gotta be asking yourself, so where are you punishing them for? For saying I'm selling my produce to you for 300,000 and you had the option to accept it or not to accept it and you said, no, I want it. And you took another one that is 50,000 and you said, because the men said 300,000, they punish them. I don't understand the logic there. But that's what some people think. So at the appropriate time, we want to get the Vice President who was chair of the whole process himself involved to communicate with you in a detailed way about what has happened. What is the cost that we will have to incur to provide the machines that we are providing? Because there's one assurance you have already. There's been no shift in the quantity of those equipments that we're targeting. Absolutely not. It'll be the same. Quality will not change. Because we've also seen posting of some people who said, oh, they've rushed and gone in the direction to find some substandard machines. But the same people who say you're going to do a substandard machine, which they say is affecting press, even though I have not announced in the press. And the same people then who say somebody is supposed to be punished for trying to steal. But if you already make your decision that what will be brought is substandard for what's supposed to be brought, then isn't it true that the press has changed because the other one is substandard? Then who can punish down for trying to steal according to you? So we get buried, deeply buried into the politics of everything that we just make sometimes very unnecessary noise about everything we want to do. And if you notice another thing, just watch around, those of you who are very active on social media. Anytime you try to say something that represents good news, there are just some people who get extremely angry. And you wonder what's happening to them. I said in this part of the world, good news for the country, not for any individuals. Maybe that yellow machine over the place, here about President Waka, or the people who are officials of the opinions of the people. I heard one former government official, one of them who was politically crushed, asking a question as to whether yellow machines will put food on people's table. And then you understand where we are as a country. You don't want to commend it, it's fine. But you say, it's not important, it's not going to put food on people's table. So the whole essence of a country existing is just for food. Once you can get food to eat, no road, no electricity, no water, it's fine. That's what that former government official who was grossly dilapidated in the electoral process is telling us. By way of using his newfound profession. And you know what a profession is, I would not say it. Oh, but yes, yellow machines can put food on people's table. Are you aware that there are many farmers whose produce are being destroyed because they cannot remove them from the source of production to market? And are you not therefore aware that the yellow machines will make our roads, including farm to market roads, possible? And thereby enabling the people to bring their produce to market, sell it, find food for them and their children, take them to hospital when they are sick, build structures to live in, etc., etc. So when you live in a state of anger, in my way, being angry every day, shortens the life expectancy. So people will save themselves from early death by just being happy about wherever you find yourself. Don't stress yourself beyond bound, being angry about everything, including good news about your own country. And if that's the path you've chosen, then I can assure you that you'll be angry every day. Because this administration will not rest and will not shy away from doing the right things for the people and for the country, and they will happen so simultaneously to the extent that if that is what makes you angry, then you're ready to be angry every day. And like I said, just be mindful that it comes with consequences that will affect you, affect your life. So more conversations will be held. I will bring up the vice president who chaired the committee that did the wonderful work. But it's just a reassurance to you that the machines are on their way. And our people in the rural places can be assured. If you used to live in Tampas, like some of the people who are much older, just know that those maintenance zones, filled with earth-moving equipment that you used to see once upon a time are coming back. And there's good news for our country. When the current management team of the National Transit Authority took over, sometimes things are happening and sometimes people don't know that things are happening because the actors don't communicate. When the team took over the National Transit Authority, they met only 5 buses, and not new ones. They were partially functional buses, 5, only 5. But not moving. They had to repair those 5 buses, the whole entity. And we all know the history of what the National Transit Authority used to be. So they met the 5 buses, they needed repair. They repaired them. And after that, they had another whole batch that needed spare parts to be repaired. They had to send for the spare parts abroad. They brought them. They did some repair work. So, in due time, just by repairing buses, it took a fleet from those 5 functional buses to 13. And they bought 3 brand new buses. It took it to 16. Then they gathered buses that were abandoned in different places, targeted for repair. And a fleet of repaired buses hit 26 from 5 non-functional buses. 2 buses were abandoned somewhere in Maryland in 3 to 4 years time. They still thought it was workable. They retrieved the bus. They realized it can be fixed. They will fix it and send it back to that region so that it can move between Maryland and River G. So this was making something out of nothing from 5 non-functional buses. Then the government decided to make provision. And all is set for them to have 55 additional new buses. 20 of the 55 buses will be 18-seater buses, used mainly on feeder roads. And the rest of the 35 will be 62-seater buses. So those 55 new buses, plus the 26 coming out of repair, tells you how many buses an entity that was inherited with 5 partially functional buses will be. It is their hope, based on everything that is happening, that all 55 new buses will be available between July to August. That will still be 2 years short. Short of 2 years. When they inherited the entity with 5 partially functional buses. These are positive, transformative stories as to what people are doing in the different sectors they're being asked to serve. And yes, some of our friends will be struggling very hard to create an impression that nothing is happening. And one of the things I've heard them say consistently nowadays, which makes little sense to me, it's a major talking point, and they will say, oh, the UP lied their way to power. And so we lied to come to power. And that's the mistake. The UP, they didn't have to lie, and the UP, they didn't lie. In the UP talk about 16 billion. The man who was the spokesperson of your government, on the event of the question whether 16 billion was missing, he confirmed that something was missing. And then days later, maybe the finance minister was in disagreement, and they start talking from 2 different sides of their mouths with an attempt to do damage control where it was late. When somebody talked about it, you can say they were lying. If somebody talked about how you took 25 million because you said there were excess liquidity on the market, you wanted to stabilize the market. You were established that you went to Fly Shop, went to Jalo Shop, and spent 25 million US. I'm not talking about Liberty. And somebody talk about it, and you say they lied their way to power. If COVID were killing people, and as a government, you say you use 30 million as a stimulus package. And nobody living in the areas that were affected saw the impact of the money. And they talk about it, you see they lie their way to power. If there were auditors dying under very mysterious circumstances, and their families themselves are concerned. Somebody talked about it, and you said they lied their way to power. And so you say you have done choosing or part to lie. As well as people you deal with, you think that people who know their left and their right. They do though. That's the reason why they reach the point and believe that what you were providing for them is not the kind of governance arrangement they wanted. And that's why they use their vote to say thank you for your service. But stop it here. But you see them differently. You think they can be used and fooled. So you're busy telling yourself people lie their way to power, so we too will lie. Keep it up. As you're attempting to lie, we'll keep doing a good job. The job will manifest. The result will be clear. And the people will see. And they will read between what is happening versus your lie. Even though the road is yet to be completed. Like I always say, I drive from Robbie every day to come here. One thing I know, the kind of road I was driving on, even though the work is yet to be completed, it's not the same as the one I'm driving on now. So by the time that work is completed, you tell the man who lives in between that road that nothing has happened. And you expect the person to say, yes sir, nothing has happened, no man is people. All the progress taking place on the RIA road yesterday, I listened to the deputy or public works minister, who said the road is gone 60%. They're about to begin work on the bridge because the existing bridge will not be used to build a completely new bridge. And he said for the other period where they have, normally in their construction, where they call it an assessment period, so that when any mistake is made on the work, it can be corrected. He says by the time you finish with all of that by April 2027, you gotta be driving on that road, that you're driving on express highway in the United States or anywhere. And the people who live on that road, be passing there, you tell them nothing has happened, you say they will agree with you. Keep dreaming like that. At least 69 Liberians, including several children, have been safely repatriated from Mali after they were left stranded by human traffickers who lured them into false promises of reaching Europe. Their return marked is a result of a consolidated rescue operation that involved the government of Liberia, the Child Protection Network of Liberia, and the Hans Hand Foundation. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection led the official reception of the returnees and is now overseeing their reunification with families across the country. This is a very important message that we get taught to elevate because there will always be people who will tell you, say, come follow me, let's go to this place. They got work there, they got this one there, they got that one there. Or yeah, people crossing through Mali and other places to go to Europe. That take the journey. And in the end, they just traffickers who want to take you to be sold. I read an op-ed issued by the U.S. ambassador to Liberia. And it's important for you members of the press to list that. Because in that op-ed, the ambassador was trying to provide guidance to people who are so desperate to make their way to other places, but especially he was focused on America. And he was emphasizing how the current government in the U.S. has zero tolerance for illegal immigration to America. And he said, even at the different border crossings that people will use to find their way into America, he pointed out in clear words, he said you could die, there could be death, there could be imprisonment. So we just caution our people not to allow themselves to be misled by people, most of whom are criminals and traffickers, taking them away, wanting to make such dangerous journey. And what was strange about this, and very heartbreaking, is that amongst the individuals who were rescued include children. So imagine putting children through those kinds of very difficult journeys. We want to thank the Child Protection Network of Liberia. I remember this group has been very helpful to our country because it's been existing for a long time. When I was assistant minister at the Ministry of Gender, but before then, national coordinator for the National Child Rights Observatory Group, that organization was a part of the Child Protection Network. It's a group that has been working diligently to safeguard and protect the interests of children. And I'm glad that after many years, that group is still in existence, working with our government to ensure that these stranded citizens of ours were rescued. Again, our entire water infrastructure is down. Yes, there are some people who can get drinking water through our sewage system moving into their homes, but there are still much to be done. So the Water and Sewer Corporation, with funding from the World Bank, they brought in 1,670 pieces of 40-inch diameter of brand new pipes and accessories, covering a distance of 10 kilometers, an accessory that replaced the old 36-inch pipe system that was used for the main water supply treatment system to the public. The old pipeline has been facing leakages along its transmission path, and it has affected water supply in Monrovia. So the new 48-inch pipe, when fully installed, will ensure an increased water supply to Monrovia and its environs. And the Water and Sewer Corporation announced that, again, the angry people brought a new debate. We paid for it long before we left office. So most should start making noise. The Ministry of Commerce, in consultation with LPRC, hereby announces that the ceiling price for gasoline and fuel oil on the Liberian market remain unchanged as of April 8, 2025. And I think they are making this clarification because some people who love to be scrupulous are trying to change what it should be. So the price of gasoline, for instance, remains $3.68. 68 cents. Which is around $790. Fuel oil is $4.26, and it's around $8.50. If you go somewhere, somebody try to call different price beyond these, raise an alarm. That means the person is trying to do the wrong thing. Lastly, I want to talk about some of the things that the National Port Authority has been doing. When we plead with people regularly to utilize the MICAT press briefing, it's because we believe it is the most effective medium through which we can get information to the public. Look at the number of you in here, and take into consideration the different media entities you represent. For those who believe social media is the way to go, all these gadgets you see here, they're on social media. The LBS is here. The OK, the Spoon, everybody here. Tell me one viable media institution. Vision Online. In fact, the one group that can do a good work in my view, because besides going live and carrying the whole program, they post some of the best of pictures after every ceremony. Even though sometimes they can be very controversial. If they're paying attention to you, The picture that made you look at Gina and one can capture. And they put it on. Especially when you go to funeral, they can just be different. And they will see all the beautiful looks they were for. One ugly one they will take it and one they will run with. Bill and his group, they are very strong and trained in that. So I always say to people, when you get a guy where vision is, be very careful how you position yourself. So capacity is a problem. Everywhere people inherited, including our own institution. But the goal cannot be to target people and say because they don't have a certain capacity, so they should not be here. The way to do it is to find a way to implant in them the capacity they don't have, because they are Liberians. Maybe they go on the job the wrong way. But the solution is not kicking them out. When they have substance and they are trainable, train them. So the MPA, as a way of first putting their foot down, they will focus on that, capacity building and training. And through that, they've been able to train over 60 of their employees, not just in here, but across China and Africa. And those training focus on port management, logistics, and marine operation. So imagine 60 persons in that entity who did not have certain capacities or expertise. Just in the last 1 year, being given the opportunity to go to China, go to other parts of Africa. And today they can knock their chest and say, I'm trained in port management. I'm trained in handling logistics in the port environment. I'm not trained in maritime operation. Transformative. But it makes the public only a way to tell that story. You don't have to tell it yourself. You want to tell it fun. Give it to us, that's our work, that's what we pay for. But the people need to know when these things are happening. Healthcare, for example, is being restored. Access to healthcare is being restored there at the MPA. So they renovated and they reopened their referral clinic, and their employees are able to have access. When they have medical challenges, they and their dependents. When the issues they have tend to be bigger than what the clinic can handle, they will refer you. Because they are also insured, right? And maybe a lot of time then the insurance will cover. They've also improved their operational logistics. Because they procure essential logistical equipment for all their departments. And that has ensured operational flow and service delivery. The expansion of the fleets that they have. I think most recently, many of you may have seen on Facebook, they were displaying something like green and white paper all over the place. They acquired 11 pickups to support port operations. And for the first time in the port's history, they procured ambulance and fire truck as of October 2024 to enhance emergency response. They've also upgraded the free port of Monrovia. They have renovated key infrastructures at the free port as of September to meet international compliance standards. They are also making financial contribution to national development. They introduced a real-time digital interface with APN terminal to monitor port data and enhance accountability. They launched a new fully functional website. They've improved communication and access to information and public engagement. They have enhanced security and productivity by introducing a 24-hour lighting system at the free port of Monrovia and the port of Buchanan, with ongoing efforts for expansion. They acquired new navigational aids that are about to be installed to facilitate quicker and safer vessel docking. They are keen on insurance and on employees' welfare, so they have resumed payment to the Social Security Corporation for employees making their social security contributions as they deduct them on a monthly basis. They have settled about 6.2 million debts owed by that corporation with EcoBank, which they inherited from the previous administration, thereby improving the creditworthiness of the port. They have commenced renovation of the Port of Greenville, which has been abandoned for over 6 years. They've signed a memorandum of understanding with the Regional Maritime Institute to offer us 50% discount when the train MPA start. They settled a 6-year backlog of employee income taxes owned to the Liberian Revenue Authority, thereby ensuring fiscal integrity and the trust of their staff. They've signed an MOU with Tagomet in Morocco to expand BMC Pier to enhance cargo handling capacity. Most importantly, to aid the overall government transparency fight, they have commissioned a full audit of the MPA to be done by the General Auditing Commission. That audit is currently ongoing, and it is a part of their effort to ensure transparency and accountability. Just a snapshot of happening there at the National Port Authority, which we may not be aware of. Because the people tell bad news than good news. I know for the last 2 weeks or so when I was in the country, maybe the hardest story of our government entity on Facebook was the MPA. But nobody cares to just say, but let's look at some of the good things that are happening too. Because it's a taboo to like or talk about good news. Thank you, Mr. Sanu. Yes, sir. You want to time before or you want? So our friend from the ministry, you can spoke with say anything, you can say that Daniel will close things up. Welcome.
Actually, that's another photo. Good afternoon. We've come to talk a little bit about our intra-governmental tournament. As you are quite aware, the intra-government tournament is a way of bringing government employees, state-owned enterprises, public corporations, autonomous agencies together for oneness, inclusive development through sports. In 2006, the intra-governmental tournament was established under the president of Liberia, then Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, as a way of bringing the government closer. During the intra-governmental tournament, you will see, for instance, Jeremiah Limepierre will be playing on the field with the least employee at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, where you see Daniel Sano playing on the field with the least employee. At that time, you cannot distinguish who is the minister and who is a regular or a janitor. That's the essence of bringing the government closer. So at that point, the government of Liberia, the intra-governmental is also a deliverable. So with this year, we've managed to make sure that every 52 persons institutions are registered to bring them closer. So what we did was the disciplinary committee will be held by GAC, Internal Audit Agency, Liberia Anti-Corruption Corporation, NIR, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Ministry of Justice, and Defense Ministry. What do we mean by this? So during protest hearing, GAC now will vet who is an employee of government. NIR also is on that committee. They will also produce the ID card for people. So you cannot, by one way or the other, because what we did was to allow every entity to allow 5 contractors. So if you say Peter Paul is a contractor, you must show a valid contract between you and Peter Paul, who is on a contract. And that contract will show the procedure and that validation will also be done to know whether Peter Paul is an actual contractor at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, or at the Ministry of Health, or at the Ministry of Finance, so that no cheating is involved in the intra-governmental. So what we did also is we established validation committee. The validation committee has the civil service agency, they have LACC as well, RAA, Ministry of Youth and Sports, GAC, NIR, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. What they will do also is to validate your identity, your ID card from your employment, and every information appertaining to it. What we want to do is, we don't want anybody who is active in the first division, in the second division, in the third division to actually play. The only exception is if you are appointed by the government of Liberia, or if the president appointed you, you will be less than 35 to play. So the benchmark in qualifying you to play in the intra-governmental, you must be 35 years and above, and have not played any active football, kickball, or basketball for the last 3 years to qualify you to play. But the difference is, if you are employed regularly, we go through that to make sure that you are 35. But if you are appointed by the president, you don't have control over that. You are not a normal civil servant. So you are qualified to play on the basis of your appointment letter from the president of Liberia. For instance, if you are 20 years old in government, you cannot play in the intra-governmental because you are very young. For instance, I'm 52. The minister might be in his 50s. If we get a 20-year-old person coming to play, you know that is that right? So the benchmark we are set now is you must be 35 years and above. But the exception is those who were appointed by the president are not more in number. So yes, we can allow every ministry and agency to allow those who were appointed by the president who are less than 35 to participate in the tournament. So what we did also is to establish the appeal committee, because if you file a protest, it's not the end. The end result is the appeal committee. The appeal committee has Ministry of Foreign Affairs because they control passport. CSA is also there because they control payroll. And Finance Ministry is also there. They control payment to employees. So all this validation will also be done. Then we have the technical committee. The technical committee is headed by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Defense, MCC, LCC. Legis, Legis control statistics. So they are also on the technical committee to make sure that all statistics are properly done. And Legis also control the competition department, because they control statistics and they will control competition. This year we want to do the intra-governmental separately different. In the past, you will play at the end of the tournament, they gave you awards, they gave you a trophy on the field. So what we did this year was to establish hospitality committee. And the hospitality committee will take our trophies, the awards to the ministerial complex to have an award night. And that award night will be graced by either the president of Liberia, the vice president, or some dignitaries from government, where they will go and sit, and we honor those who are deserving of the awards, individual awards, basketball awards, football, and kickball. This year, unfortunately, we are not including volleyball because of some reasons that we cannot explain them, because they have some issues. Once those issues are resolved, I'm sure we'll bring them. But unfortunately, the tournament will be starting on the 17th of April, so we're not sure whether volleyball will be there. But there will be football, there will be kickball, and there will be basketball. And this year, we're also introducing marathon for older people who want to go and exercise, to have marathon. 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, and 800 meter at the SKT Sports Complex. That process and that part of it will be also handled by the Assistant Minister for Sports, Mr. Murphy Gray. As you are also aware, MICAT is the chairperson on the Media and Publicity Committee. Deputy Minister Daniel Sano has been doing a very good job to talk about the intra-governmental every time. He's co-chaired by the LBS, MPA, and a few other people on that committee. But MICAT is also the chair, so they have been doing exceptionally well to inform the public about the intra-governmental. Like I said before, the intra-governmental is a deliverable of the government agro managed by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. But this year we have consolidated all ministries, agencies, public corporations to also be a part, so that everybody is involved on all the committees to make sure that all hands are on deck, to make sure that the intra-governmental is successful, peaceful, and to bring peace, unity, inclusive development through sports. So we will stay here. Probably there will be a few questions to answer. But last year we could not play because the government had just transitioned. In 2023, those who won the league, as you are aware, Maritime won the football category of the 2023, and MPA won the kickball category, NASCO won the basketball category, and Minnesota State won the volleyball category. So,
Just
okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Andy Quamie. So, just before we take your questions, I'd like to add that the other day the Commission on Arms announced the commencement of registration of small arms in the country. And it became another topical issue. People try to blow it out of proportion to say the government was requesting citizens to get one for themselves, but the government cannot protect as it's required, which was not true. But the fact remains that there are a lot of people out there who are carrying arms illegally. The Liberia National Police is investigating the shooting of Chief Inspector Sam Derrick Walker. Inspector Walker was attacked on April 5th during the evening hours at the Jerusalem Community Junction in the Mambake area. Officer Walker sustained gunshot wounds and left his left leg after the attack, and he is currently seeking medical attention at a medical facility. So far, one person has been arrested in connection with the incident. That person is ongoing investigation. The investigation has also identified Prince Willie as one of the suspects who was involved in the attack. Additional individuals wanted in connection with this case include Joe Hagan Jr., Prince Willie, aka Chucky, Prince Lord, and Patrick Killing. Of course, there are photographs cited in the release that were published by the Liberia National Police. And the police is also seeking assistance from the public. If we can provide information that will lead to the arrest or apprehension of these individuals, the police will appreciate it. Because law enforcement, the police, the community has to get involved. They are out there, they have guns, carrying guns illegally, and they are terrorizing the police. So if you know where they are, we call on you to help the police in arresting them. Because they are armed and they are dangerous individuals. They shouldn't be out there in the community. Lastly, before we take the questions, there are people who are out there, left the country, and they see everything that is happening, the commitment of the government to address some of the problems the country faces. They come back home and in their own capacity, they try to help buttress the effort of national government. The Liberia National Fire Service received a donation worth over $250,000 from a group called the International Training Company and the International Training Force. The donation includes essential personal protective equipment, PPE, for firefighters, and a 65-inch smart board to aid classroom instruction at the Liberia National Fire Service Academy. The donations were made by Mr. Patrick McDermott and Mr. Tyrone Gerrard of the International Training Force. The donation was received by the leadership of the Liberia National Fire Service. I'm told that the Speaker of the National Legislature, Honorable Richard Nambikon, was there. The Director of the Fire Service, Mr. Wasco Bafo, expressed deep appreciation to the donors, especially to Mr. Gladstone Webb and Chief Prince Kapier, co-heads of the International Training Group, for their dedication to public safety, firefighting, and training and disaster management. They are private individuals who see that there's a need. Government cannot do everything. So they come in to assist, and on behalf of the government of Liberia, we would like to appreciate them for their kind gesture to enable the fire service respond in a timely manner to incidents of fire outbreak across the country, because last year there were a lot of fire incidents across the country. This year we see a bit of decline. Of course, there have been other instances, but we have to admit to the capacity problem that the fire service has. Some of the problems are based on logistical issues, and this donation seeks to address some of these logistical problems that they're confronted with. With that being said,
Let me just press on for you to take the questions.
Yeah.
So part of our goal as a ministry is to find ways to bring the media, the Liberian media, closer and closer to the government as a whole, but to the presidency in particular. We are hoping that there will be times when the president will have to sit senior media executives to have chit-chats and other different forms of engagements. But we wanted to start the engagement first on a soft social note. So on Thursday, which is this coming Thursday the 10th, we will be hosting the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, along with the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. We will host what we call the annual Presidential Media Dinner. It will bring together media leaders and executives together with the president and key officials of the ministries named, as well as other important government officials like the Speaker, the Pro Tem, Chief Justice, and others, for a night of dinner at the ministerial complex, the EJS ministerial complex. We intend to make it a memorable occasion, since it's the first honor President Waka. Invitations are going out as MICAT reporters. Your head, the president. I know you're having a coup here the other time, I don't know why it is now, but whoever is the president is entitled to that recognition. They will have the chance to be formally seated representing MICAT reporters. But at the same time, because the program needs coverage, all of you here who normally cover the Ministry of Information will have to be there to cover the program. And by virtue of the fact that you will be present to cover the program, it also means, like your president, you will share in the dinner. Yeah, prior to getting you eat some too. So we just wanted to announce that if you take notes right now, a few banners are being placed out there in the public to give more visibility to this very important event. Through your own ways, using your different media outlets, talk about it. It's critically important. It happens in great society. Like in America, you have because they don't have Ministry of Information, all of that. They have the press secretary, so they have the White House correspondent dinner with the president. It's a replica of that. It's been happening before. We did a couple of times. I know President Selig. I don't know whether you did it during the last 6 years, but we thought to do it. And we finally put all into place to ensure that it happens on Thursday. See you all there. Come and give it the coverage it needs. LBS will be there to carry live. Spoon will be there to carry live. Okay, all of you be there and carry live. It's a media event with the president, so we have to promote it. And I'd like to recognize the presence of the former president of the Press Union, Charles Coffey. Charlie, welcome.
So, Amulet, please proceed with the questions. The minister spoke very extensively, spoke to issues across various sectors of the government. Deputy Minister MICAT Quamie also spoke about the Intra governmental tournament or league, if you may. I'm sure you have questions, so we'll now give you the opportunity to ask your questions. Now, the speakers will take note as you ask.
Please introduce yourself, the institution you report for, and one question please.
Thank you very much. My name is Trokon Flama and I work for Spoon Network. Thank you, Minister, for the elaboration. In your statement, response to the former Vice President, she appeared online platform the other time, Spoon Network. She alleged that she has been reading top government officials, including the Speaker, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of State Presidential Affairs on this matter. But in your statement, you did not mention any of that. Are you now aware of her communication on her benefits as a government? I'm not talking about maybe as the Ministry of Information, but the entire government is not aware of any communication that she claimed in your session. And to Minister Andy, you did mention that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of, that is the CSA, they will be doing vetting of civil servants that will be participating in the league, and also when there are complaints, these institutions will address the complaint appropriately. When those institutions who are participating, who will be addressing complaints, when they have issues, who do they carry that complaint to?
Thank you. My name is Desmond Moyon and I report for Democracy Watch. To the Minister, just like my colleague has said, I think I'm going to the power for using a different form because it's an issue of concern. The former Vice President is a state president, and of course, basically these kind of allegations of government, it creates a whole lot. I want to know, considering what she alleged of many communications to government from the Finance Ministry and led by the Justice Ministry during the Speaker. And now that the official spokesperson of government is saying that the former Vice President should do a communication. So my concern is, is this government concerned about the previous communication, or if it is established that indeed she has taken these officials, do they consider such communication, or like she rewrites that? That's my first concern. The second concern is this most anticipated F-moving equipment. The price, as I learned from you, was not announced when we were here, because that release came about when we were appearance at the post level, where people, a lot of reported on the story that the government position was on the 2 million reduction, which everybody, I see as a person, was important in terms of taxes. So if that has not been the official price of government, as you said, what is the official price the renegotiation is seeking, to achieve? And why, as a person, as a government official, what you think could be the reason for media institutions to have reported on to the 2 million, which is a great reduction, instead of probably the one that was escalated at first.
So my name is Mpudu, and I run the multimedia hub. And my question goes to the Minister of the Minister of Police. So it's always good to play football. What pastime when you talk about doing sport, you would think about football, or maybe there's a game coming up, you want to give some information about that. But I think that youth and sport just more than talking about football. This is a government that say things will not be like before. You just mentioned about upcoming games that will be participated by government officials. But we want to know, maybe the ordinary Liberian want to know, what are extra things that you are involved with that youth of this country, will benefit, instead of just talking about, government officials going to play football. And B to that, this whole tournament, what the government hope to achieve after you shall have done with the league. Thank you.
My name is Joseph Yakula, and I report for the Vote 231 online TV. Mr. Quamie, you talk about the league, and then you did not mention, you did not release a picture and a venue for the tournament. And besides that, I want to look at the economic picture league. I wanted to do tournament instead of the league, because the league is quite different now. The tournament is also different. One is we should look at this one.
All right, thank you. I'll rest in peace, and I'll report for Ghana. So my first question goes to Mr. Quamie. Thanks for your explanation. According to you, the Intergovernmental League is intended to bring government closer, which we appreciate. But from a counter point of view, there is something called value for money. So I really want to know the issue of the entire league. Why is the budget? But I didn't hear you say something about it. Is that the budget for the league? You care to tell the Liberian people? And then to Mr. Samuel, about 48 hours ago, you allowed to wrote something on your official Facebook page. You said your home is being, or the home of your family is being attacked. I want to know, were you able to identify those who involved? If yes, are there measures to avoid, repeat of similar situation? Thank you.
I'm Joseph Salim. Report from outside TV. Mr. Quamie, I want to know what all rules should be applied within the tournament. All rules that govern football when it comes to player receiving 2 yellow cards, whether they will miss the next match, what will be the penalties of player receiving cards. And to Mr. PF, a few minutes ago, the ANC political leader, Alexander Cummings, appeared on Sky 50-50, and he made some strong allegations against the government. One is the government is doing, I think, 4 times double what the past administration did. And second to that, I condemn the president. He condemned the president using such an expensive card, and as a governmental person, can you tell us to respond to his statement?
My question goes to the Minister of Information. The people, the public are concerned about the issue of human trafficking. And let me say thank you to the Gender Ministry and the Children Program for that bold step for saving those people, particularly. I want to know as to what is the Ministry of Gender, what are they going to do with those actors, those that are formed within the act of trafficking? Are they going to let them go scot-free, or will they go after them? Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Korea Phillips. I work for the Liberia newspaper. I have two questions, one for the Minister, a boss, one for the Minister. And Minister, you said the government at 5% is paying all former officials, including the former Vice President Howard Taylor. And then she abated on this point on that indeed she receiving benefits for a senator position. The question is the government of Liberia paying, for example, Madam Joanna Taylor for being Vice President, while at the same time paying her for being a senator? That's the question. And my question also to Mr. Andy. Mr. Andy, thank you. We just want to know, you didn't announce what will be a award or what are people pay to go on the field. And also we want to know, since you don't come always, you hosted the county meeting. We want to tell how much did you approve for that county meeting?
So, good afternoon. My name is Ines Soko and I report for Lux Radio News Television. My question goes to the Minister of Information. In your deliberation, you spoke of the current president, then vice president receiving 800 that you were aware of, or you are aware of, comparing it to what the former vice president, Madam Taylor, said, that she hasn't been receiving her benefits due her. And in your deliberation, you talk about what you are aware of from this National Social Security, that she's been receiving her benefits. So I am confused that I need you to clarify or make a little more clarity of. Does this 800 that was received from former Vice President Walker, does it cover the now ex-Vice President? Is $800, is it being given to her as well, or is something else? I'm a bit confused on that, and I need a little more clarity on. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are all the questions. Mr. Quamie?
Thank you. The first question was based on GAC, LACC being participant at the same time sitting on the disciplinary or the protest committee. Whenever there's a protest on an entity and that entity is a part of the disciplinary or the protest committee, I'm sure we all know the rules governing schools. That entity will be recused from there and that investigation will go on without that entity. For instance, our integrity institutions are entrusted with hearing protest issues, validation issues, and to handle issues that bother us around integrity. But in the event there's a protest on IAA, LACC, GAC, they will be recused from that committee, and the rest of the other 9 entities will have to hear that issue. Somebody asked if the Minister of Youth and Sports is involved in other matters regarding sports. That's why they call the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We had TVET, Technical Vocational Training Institute. The TVET is doing a marvelous job. The youth development is also doing much more. But I'm not the Deputy Minister for Youth. I don't want to speak to issues regarding the youth. But right now, the youth department is doing extra. If you hear the at-risk youth, they are doing extra work, taking them from the streets, carrying them to vocational institutions, training them, cleaning them to come back to the society to be accepted. Right now, we are on a recruitment of more than 5,000 students as cadets that will be assigned to ministries, agencies, and other institutions. The government of Liberia also, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, will be investing in tutorial for high school students, will be recruiting university students to do that. There are a lot more the Ministry of Youth and Sports is doing, not just sports. But because I'm the Deputy Minister for Sports, I have to discuss something pertaining to my department. But the Ministry of Youth and Sports is doing a lot more that the public is aware of, or the public should be aware of. But again, I'm the Deputy Minister for Sports, I have to discuss something in my shop. Not in the Deputy Minister for TVET, there's a Deputy Minister for Youth Development, there's a Minister of Youth and Sports as well. The budget for the league, the government of Liberia is providing 15,000 for that league, and every participating entity is paying $750 for registration that will run the league as well. Somebody asked for the budget. So that is the budget. 15,000 has been provided by the government of Liberia, and every participating entity is paying $750 for the running of the league. Yes, I could not give you the fixture here, but I think I told you that the league will be starting on the 17th of April. As soon as we leave from here, the fixtures will be given to the public and to the media as well, so that you can also inform the public on our behalf. Somebody asked for the rules of the tournament. Yes, all rules of football will be applied, but like I said to you, we are considering 35 years and above, meaning that we will alter FIFA rules a little bit to suit our, because the old people want to play like Otambo. So we will not go by the standard rules of football or for FIFA. We will also tell the rule in a way that it fits the tournament. Somebody said, why are you saying tournament instead of league, or league instead of tournament? It's almost the same. The tournament will go on for more than 3 months. That's why we say intra-governmental league. So you can consider it as tournament or league or whatever it is. There are 65 institutions that will be participating. Right now, 52 have registered. We are hoping that before the tournament opens, the rest of the other entities will have registered. The league will go on pretty close to 3 months. So that's the reason. Few weeks ago, the Minister of Youth and Sports had a press conference to announce how much was accrued from the National County Sports Meet. I'm sure if you are journalists, I saw you listen to the minister, he announced how much was accrued. I've come here to talk about the intra-governmental, and I don't want to give you any figure that I'm not sure on. But yes, indeed, Minister of Youth and Sports, Councilor Gerald Bangalo had a press conference 2 weeks ago and announced how much was accrued, how much was expended, and the records are public documents. If you want it, probably you can come to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we can provide that detail to you. Somebody talked about cash prizes. Yes, there will be cash prizes, individual prizes will also be awarded, and trophies will also be awarded. I think I announced that this year we will do it slightly different. At the end of the tournament, we will go to the ministerial complex to have our awards night where people, individuals, institutions that will win